Guys, something that fans never thought would happen might actually be taking place in future Star Wars films. I am talking about Grand Admiral Thrawn being in a live-action film. There are a lot of rumors and some pretty compelling evidence to suggest that it is Lucasfilm's plan to bring Grand Admiral Thrawn into Episode 9 and possibly in the Obi-Wan film. In this video, I want to break down that evidence, talk about why I think this makes sense, and just in general nerd out about how awesome this will be. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. If you like Star Wars, subscribe to this channel. We cover all aspects of Star Wars over here. Quickly, I need to shout out Mark Streeter, who got the nerd card question correct in my Boba Fett movie video from yesterday. So shout out to you, Mark. We'll go ahead and do another nerd card question at the end of this video. All right, so we got to talk about these rumors about Grand Admiral Thrawn being in a live-action movie. So apparently there are a lot of different things on like 4chan, Reddit, and different sites like that. They're all pointing to different sources that are talking about Rebels characters being in Episode 9. Now, this makes a lot of sense if you consider what happened at the end of Rebels, but especially for Grand Admiral Thrawn, considering that the Chiss, which are his people, are in the unknown regions. I mean, this makes a lot of sense. There's also a video of a British actor named Adam Templar, who is doing a audition for the Grand Admiral Thrawn role. On top of all of that, there are reports out there that Timothy Zahn is working on 2 additional Thrawn novels, and that he is waiting until after Episode 9 to start working on them. This, of course, implies that he will be looking for information from Episode 9 to help inform those novels. Oh, and by the way, those are 2 additional novels besides the Vader novel, which is called Alliances or Allegiances, I believe. So yeah, Thrawn, big deal, going to be a big part of canon in general with those 2 novels moving forward. And the Adam Templar video particularly really suggests that Disney is looking for someone to play a live-action Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, in order to get into more of what is actually going on and why I think this makes sense for Episode 9, I need to talk about the recent leaks for the plot of Episode 9. So if you don't want spoiled at all, maybe check out for like the next 2 or 3 minutes, because I need to get into those spoilers to explain why this makes perfect sense. So, if you've been paying attention, in the leaks, it talks a lot about how the unknown regions are going to play a very important role to the current saga and to the ending of Episode 9. A big twist and a surprising aspect of Episode 9 is going to be that Kylo Ren and the First Order are actually really good at ruling the known galaxy. They're able to provide a lot, and that means security and also food and different things like that. So their resources are nearly limitless. And this was something that was touched on during interviews for Episode 8. People were asking about the Snoke character, and it was said that he had nearly limitless resources. Now, apparently there's going to be this forge or a big planet that just pumps out a ton of resources, and this is located in the unknown regions, and it is made up of slaves and conquered planets from the unknown regions. So the big thing is that although life is great for people in the current galaxy, it comes at the cost of life of people in the unknown regions. So the unknown regions are like the new rebellion. They're the new outer rim that is being disenfranchised to provide for the core worlds, and they are apparently going to team up with Rey and the Resistance to come into the galaxy and stop this atrocity. So Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Chiss, who exist in the unknown regions, it would make perfect sense to bring that character in if at this Star Forge, which people are calling it, that comes from the EU, by the way, but that's sort of the name people are giving to this new planet that provides all these resources. But if that is the way they go, it would make perfect sense for Thrawn to be there. Now, one of the interesting aspects of the Thrawn character, especially like the current canon version of that character, is that he's actually not a bad guy. In fact, the reason he comes into our galaxy and works under the Emperor was to see if our current galaxy was strong enough to be a good ally to fight against this threat out in the unknown regions. And if it's not strong enough, he was going to weaken the known galaxy to the point where whatever this big threat and evil was out there, it would come after our galaxy as opposed to the unknown regions. So everything Thrawn did in his entire career in the military navy was to help his people out. He needed a strong ally in the Empire, or he needed an easier target to help his people not catch the brunt of whatever this big evil force was. Now, what's really interesting is during the Thrawn novel, when we find this out, a lot of people postulated that this could be Snoke, that this could have been the First Order, that is what Thrawn and the Chiss were absolutely terrified from. So it's kind of cool to see that that thread is once again coming back into play. It would make perfect sense for Thrawn to be in it if that is indeed the way that the plot is going to go. Now, I want to talk about the Rebels ending a little bit, because you have at the end of that series Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ezra Bridger with the space whales leaving the planet and going somewhere together. It's possible that they are out in the unknown regions, that Ezra and Thrawn come to some kind of an arrangement. I mean, I think they're going to have to lean on each other to survive. So it would be really cool to see Ezra and Grand Admiral Thrawn helping out with this whole situation with the disenfranchised people out in the unknown regions. Now, the other big rumor is that Thrawn is actually going to be in the Kenobi movie. Apparently, that Adam Templar video was for the Kenobi movie, or at least that's what people are speculating about, which I find kind of strange. Now, as some people have pointed out, the Kenobi movie itself is sort of a weird pickle, right? If it takes place where he is all on Tatooine, I mean, how do you make that interesting? I mean, a planet with just one dude on a desert planet, not super down with that. But it is speculated that having Thrawn play a role and being under the orders of Vader and the Emperor, tasked with tracking down Jedi, might lead Thrawn to Tatooine and might lead him to have a conversation with Obi-Wan Kenobi. The timing there is a little bit strange, but I do think it's possible that Lucasfilm sees Thrawn as a nice through line from things like Rebels, from things like their novels, and if they put him in the movie, it's a nice way to connect all of that together. Now, not to spoil anything for the Han Solo movie, but there's a cameo at the end of that movie which definitely solidifies an effort by Lucasfilm to do just that, to tie a ton of their ancillary materials and their other films together in a nice little bow. Thrawn's one of the most popular Star Wars characters of all time, and this dates way back to his EU days. So I would personally love it if that character came into the fold more on the silver screen and helped connect everything together. Now, the last thing I want to talk about here is the possibility that Thrawn is actually a good guy. Now, I kind of touched on this before, but it has been an interesting thing to watch this character's development in the novels and in Rebels. Now, at the end of Rebels, he's really going evil, but I couldn't tell if that was because the Emperor was present. It's possible Thrawn was just doing all of that because he knew the Emperor was watching him. I mean, I generally like anti-heroes, and it would be interesting to see if Thrawn could join with the Resistance and be that military mastermind, but to help take out the First Order. I would personally be super down with that, and I would love to see what the Chiss Empire looks like, and in general, go to places that we haven't fully explored in Star Wars currently. I know Lucasfilm gets a lot of crap because the way it's perceived now is that they don't really have much of a plan, and a lot of the stuff isn't really thought out. But all of this news, especially about Thrawn, the unknown regions, and different things like that, it makes me think that they have a plan, that they have been working very hard to fill out what this world, galaxy, universe, and story looks like. So here's to hoping that it's true, and they're going to tie it together and really make even the more casual fans feel the weight and the vastness of this awesome Star Wars universe. Let me know what you're thinking about all of this. Would you like Thrawn to come into Episode 9 and possibly in the Obi-Wan film as well? Do you want to see him turn, maybe be an anti-hero, maybe be a hero and help the Resistance out? Whatever Whatever your thoughts are about Thrawn Episode 9 and the future of Star Wars, let me know in the comment section below. All right, let's check that nerd card really quickly. I want to know, what was the name of the sidekick that Thrawn had in the new canon Thrawn novel? This is a character from Wild Space, and at the end of that book, he actually goes out to help the Chiss higher ascendancy. I'm really hoping we get to see that character again as well, but the question remains, what was that character's name? Answer that in the comment section below. You can click below to watch more dope videos. You can click our icon to subscribe to get all of our future content. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video.